What's up, y'all? It's your boy Super Barber Samson with another live video. Hey, check this out. Hey, don't forget, August 29th is going to be Off the Chain Super Barber Expo. Shameless plug. August 29th here in Katy, Texas. Follow the link below. Follow me, Super Barber Samson on IG. Holla at your boy. Hey, check this out.
Let's go!
I wanted to talk to you today, especially to my barbers, all my barbers who follow me. I want to talk to you about the different things that you, especially now, the big debate and the big conversation that we're talking about is prices, is how come we can't raise our prices. The only reason that most barbers cannot raise their prices is because they're scared to. They're scared to either raise their prices because they're afraid that it's going to run the customer away. They're afraid that if they raise their prices, they won't get enough clients to pay their bills or take care of themselves. And they're afraid to raise their prices just because nobody else is raising their prices. Well, here's what happens. This is an industry, I've been in this industry since 1986. And even before that, because my dad owned a barbershop, my brother's a barber, my sister's a beautician, it's in my blood, okay? So I've been in a barbershop since I was a baby. So this has been in my life for years. So the youngest haircut I remember as far as the price back in the early 80s was $10. When I started cutting hair, haircuts was $12, right? So by the time I turned 18, 19 years old, haircuts was $15, $17. We was juggling between $15, $17. By the time we was in the 90s, I was about 20, 21, haircuts was $20, okay? So now, here we are in 1990. Now, I don't have to add no math with you guys. I'm sure you guys know enough math. So you got from 1990 to 2021. I mean, like, this is like ridiculous, right? So we got 30 years plus, and the price people only want to pay is $21. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, $20, they want to pay $20, they want to pay $30. I just find it like a disrespect to the barber community for barber prices to stay the same for so long. And I believe it stayed so long at that price because barbers never added their input. Like, we don't have no barber union where we're gonna strike and say prices go up. We don't have that, right? So what happens is, we essentially just kind of live by the code. So the code is like whatever other barbershops in your area is charging, that's what you charge. So me being a barber the stars, or whatever you want to call it, barber star, whatever, I've cut plenty of people, from stars, actors, ball players, whatever you want to call, I've cut them all, right? All different types of people. And I've seen even stars complain about their haircut prices because they're so used to being getting a haircut. So my question is to you is that for my barbers, like, how come these people, like, all over, whether you're a star, whether you got money or whatever, how come they're allowing, how come they are wanting to pay that same price? And it's because our culture has never implemented that this is a barber change. And so there are other, I call them bottom feeders, bottom feeder barbers. They would keep their price the same because they want to stay ahead of the competition. So while other barbers' prices would go up, they would say, we're going to keep ours the same so we can get all the business. But what essentially happens is that barber gets burned out, and then that barber starts feeling like, I'm not getting paid enough money for my work. So that's why I'm doing this video, because I'm like trying to create a culture where it's okay to charge more. It's okay because a workman is worth his hire. That's a quote from the Bible. A workman is worth his hire. So you are worth your hire. Like, let's just say, for an example, haircut lasts for about a week, right? Some people a few days less than that, like maybe 5 days, right? When you get a shave, your hair start growing back in within the next couple of days, right? Well, if you go get like a meal, like I remember Happy Meals were, I don't know, I can't remember the price, whatever I'm gonna look that up, but like a full meal that like costs at Wendy's is like totally different price from when I was a kid. Like they literally doubled in price. McDonald's, this is food that you eat and just get gratification from it for maybe about 20 minutes the time you eat it, 20-30 minutes from the time you eat it. So you get a 20-minute gratification for a plate of food, but you get a whole week gratification for a haircut that takes at least an hour to finish, right? 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it depends on how fast your barber cuts, right? So, but that lasts you for an hour. Not only that haircut, that, you know, versus like a meal at McDonald's or Wendy's, wherever you want to call it, that lasts you for 20 minutes and you forget about it, and 2 hours, 3 hours later, an hour later, end of the day, you're hungry all over again. But that haircut possibly gets you a job interview, get you into the door. That haircut possibly allows you to see, to get lucky and meet and create and make and get with a significant other, right? That haircut gets you compliments. That haircut could possibly get you promotions, and we can go on and on and on what that one haircut can do, even though it lasts for only a week, right? And so I wanted to talk to you guys about how what I did. I raised my prices, and a lot of people used to dog me out. How come I raised my prices? But if you go into different cultures, or not just different cultures, you could go maybe across the street, depending on where you live. But depending on where you live, you could go into a high-end area where they, and some of you barbers, I want you guys to do that. If you go into a high-end area, wherever you will live, I don't care if you live in Houston, I don't care if you live in New York, I don't care if you live in California, I don't care if you live in freaking Arizona, but wherever you live, go into a high-end area and go check out the barbershops in those high-end areas. Like, so you go into a barbershop in Beverly Hills, right? Totally different from a barbershop in Compton, right? Totally different price. Yes, the income has changed, but you have people who are coming into your barbershop who their income is still six-figure, right? And they won't even, they want to come to your shop because the shop you're at gives a better cut versus than the shop they're at, which is a high-end shop, and don't give the type of cut that you give, right? And so therefore you can charge that. So for an example, like where I live, if I go out, I went to a barbershop, I was invited by a friend of mine to a barbershop out in the Woodlands and out here in Houston, Texas. And it's one of the areas out here in Houston. And when I went to this barbershop, I went, sat down, and I was just with a buddy of mine. He was a barber, but he wanted to show me something. So he went and got in the barbershop, got his haircut. After he got his haircut, it was okay. They didn't use no trimmers. They didn't shape him up, right? And he like specifically said, I want to shape up here, line up. He said, okay. So they use like the regular level clippers, like not even trimmers. Like they use the Wall, I don't know, I think it was the Wall Supremes, and they just closed it and they shaped them up. That's how they shaped them up. They didn't even use trimmers, right? He asked for a ball fade. They gave him a light fade. It wasn't a ball fade. They didn't use the shavers to clean it up. He asked for, I mean, it was not the haircut that he asked for. It was maybe a haircut that you would see, not even in a magazine, that you would just see after person got their haircut. His haircut looked like it was already 3 days old. So that's what I'm saying to you. So, but when he went, he paid for the haircut, and then he tipped the guy. Well, the haircut was $127 or something like that. And the haircut was less than 30 minutes. But one thing I did notice what they did give him, they gave him an ultimate service. They put hot towels, they put like 2 or 3 hot towels on him. They cleaned his face. They gave him like a small mini facial, which means they sprayed something on his face. They took a cleanser and wiped his face down, took out whatever blemishes, you know, and cleaned him up and made him feel refreshed. And then before he finished the haircut, they put another hot towel on. So when he got out and he was laying back and they had the steamer on him, but when he got out, when they took that towel off, when they sat him up in the chair, he took that towel off. It was like, whoop, it was so refreshing. And I was like, wow. So I sat there for maybe about 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and they did that quick. And he was out of there. And so he paid, essentially he paid like $150 for the haircut, right? and he tipped them regardless because of the experience, not because of the haircut. And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because most barbershops are now, and these days, you see on IG or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, YouTube, everyone is showing their haircuts because how great their haircuts are, and they totally forgot about the experience. Well, the experience is, from what I noticed, over 30 years of experience, I noticed the experience when someone sits in your chair is what is how they tip you, is why they will want to pay you a certain amount of money, or why they will want to pay you what you're asking for, the experience. This is why the difference from me going to one restaurant to going to another restaurant, because if I want to experience going into a restaurant, I want to go into a restaurant that's going to always be asking me, do you want something to drink? Do you want some more water? Do you want some more food? Do you want, is everything okay? Do you need another napkin? How'd you like the food? Is everything okay? So those are the things that I love in a restaurant. And sometimes if you go to a lot of high-end restaurants, they'll give you champagne, they'll give you some things, and they won't even, well, it's, the person who has a different mindset, they say, oh, this glass of champagne is for free, and they're giving it for free, but they also charge overall for the experience. They're not charging because it could be implemented into that free glass of champagne, right? But what's really important is that they give you an experience. They're giving you a hot towel to wipe your hands. I remember the first time I went into a restaurant and they gave me a hot towel to wipe my hands. I remember the first time where in between my salad and my meals, the first time I ever did that, I remember that they had these little metal things and they scrape the crumbs off in front of you and they get you prepared for your dinner, right? If you have dessert, they take away your dinner plate and they scrape it off the crumbs if there's any crumbs left, right? Even if there's nothing there, they scraping it off, right? And they're giving you an experience. It's making you want to, go back to that restaurant. So first time when I flew first class, that's why I fly first class, because it wasn't because I was bougie or anything. It was simply because I got in that seat and the seat was much bigger. The seat leaned back a little further without me hitting my neighbor's knees behind me. They gave me different food. They gave me a meal. They gave me a menu, and all of it was included. They gave me a drink. They gave me a couple of drinks, 2 or 3 drinks, whatever you want. They give you that. When I went to a hotel for the first time, I went to Ritz-Carlton. I remember it was like off the chain. It was like when I walked in the door, they knew my name. And even though I gave them my name for my reservation, but my mind said, like, how in the world do these people know my name? They said, hey, Mr. Sampson, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. How do you know me? I'm looking to see if I got a tag on me or anything, but it's because they prepared for me, if that makes any sense. So what I started doing was I started preparing for my clients. So when my clients come in, I look through my bookings. That's why it's essential to have a booking app. I look through my bookings and say, for example, guy Tommy comes in. When Tommy comes in, I know he's coming in at 12 o'clock. And I say, you Tommy? He says, yes, I'm Tommy. Hey, how you doing? I'm Sampson. Hey, come on, have a seat. Let me take care of you. So from the moment Tommy walks in the door, Tommy gets an experience from Sampson, right? First thing is cleaning him up, give him a haircut, hot towel, the whole shebang, right? So if you see my series before, you can go down, probably search, and I talk about my A1 clients. So at that moment that I'm cutting that person hair, I'm figuring out what type of service I'm giving him, right? The cool thing about being a barber is that you're always gonna give the best experience, right? So you can get, for an example, like you could get a burger that tastes not, or don't taste as good as a Big Mac, but it's still a burger, right? But you could find that burger somewhere else in a 5-star restaurant, and that burger that you may get at the corner store may cost you $2 or $3, right? But you go to that big place, expensive restaurant, and that burger may cost you, I don't know, maybe $15, $20, $30, $40. They'll just add like prime rib, selected rib, burger or whatever, right? And they put a label on it, and then what happens is essentially you purchase that burger for that price just because of the experience that they're giving you. They're making sure everything is straight. They're making sure everything is clean. They're making sure that they give you the service. They put a napkin on your lap. They're doing everything it takes to make sure you come back. It's the experience, right? And so we have something that we can do as barbers. We can literally change the atmosphere just like that. And so what I mean by that is that when someone comes in and sits down in our chairs, what happens is the first thing I do when I ask them, hey, what type of work you do? Oh, I work as a construction worker, right? Let's say, okay, well, oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I'm a this. Oh, I'm a that. So immediately, the reason why I ask that is because I want to know the type of person that I'm dealing with. I want to know if it's a professional, so I can change my language. Versus if somebody comes up and tells me and sits in my chair and says, I'm a rapper, versus I'm a dentist, right? Two different type of conversations. If he's a dentist, then I'm like, hey, where'd you go to college at? Where'd you go to school? And then I share my experience and then he tells me more about his experience, right? And then if he says, well, I'm a rapper from Memphis. Oh yeah, man, you know who this is, you know who that is, you know who it is. So, yo, what up? So everything changes, and I kind of transform to that client to grab his attention, to give him an experience. Now, do the haircuts stay the same? Yes and no. The haircut is the same. The experience is different. You get what you pay for. The same way where you go into a Ritz-Carlton, right? So if someone who wants to pay a Ritz-Carlton price, right, they get a Ritz-Carlton haircut. They get a little bit extra. Instead of you getting one towel, you may get 3 towels. I hope you guys are following me. No difference than if you go to the Days Inn or you go to a low-end Hilton hotel or whatever, then going to a Ritz-Carlton. 2 different places. One place, they check their beds and for everything. They fluff the pillows up for you. You can call them up and say, hey, I'm tired. Can you make sure my cover's pulled back and the pillows are fluffed up, right? And then the other place, they're not gonna do that. You need to cut on the light real quick to make sure there's no bed bugs in there, depending on whatever place you go, right? But you're still getting a service and you still have to pay. Now, one place may charge you $79 a night, a lower end place, right? Or if you go to the hood, you may get a place for like $39 a night, right? For a room, right? But then you go to like a Ritz-Carlton and you may pay like $400, $500, $700 a night. And even they have different packages even in those rooms. Like you can have a presidential suite, you can have a king suite, a queen suite, whatever. You can have a kitchen suite or whatever. And even in the Hilton hotels, even in the low end hotels, they have suites in there that the prices are a little bit more because the rooms is bigger and it's a little bit more spacious. You may get the same service, but you just get a bigger room, which means you get more amenities, more things in the room than you would get in a different type of room. So, but with the Ritz-Carlton, it's different. If you get a bigger room, you may get an extra maitre d' service. I remember I went to one Ritz-Carlton and I think it was the clubhouse level, and you go to the clubhouse level and there's a restaurant on that floor and it stays open from like breakfast all the way until the evening. They close down for like a couple of hours in the afternoon and then boom, they open back up. They got some light music and they got whatever you want to get in that restaurant you can get. You don't have to go downstairs, you can stay right on your floor. You have a maitre d' standing when you get off the elevator. You need a special key code. Yes, I've been there. And so it's so awesome. And so I take all of that information and I add it to my barbering, and I understand that different people will pay different prices for a service that they feel is of value. So let me ask you a question. How valuable do you feel your service is worth? And that's where it comes in at. Is it worth $20 haircut or is it worth $100 haircut? If you're giving a $20 haircut, then it's only worth a $20 haircut. But if you feel like your haircuts is more than $20, drop a comment below and let me know if you feel like your haircuts is worth more than $20. Yes, if your haircut is more worth than $30, give me a comment. $100. How much is your haircut worth? We don't know, right? But I know my haircuts is worth more than $100. how much would you charge for 30 minutes, right? So what I do is I do something different. I call it professional marketing. Professional marketing, what I use is my method of how I deal and get my clients. So with professional marketing, I target doctors, I target lawyers, I target dentists, I target professional businessmen, I target musicians, like maybe rappers, or not just rappers, but singers, but people who are in the music industry, A&Rs. I target people, I target actors. I find out who's the actors in my city, and I shoot them DMs. Be like, hey, I really wish I could cut your hair. I'm giving this knowledge. I know you guys haven't been doing this. I know this for a fact, because everybody always asks me, how do I get the clients that I get? And I'm just giving you a nugget right now that's gonna just bless your socks off, and I promise you. And so, people say, oh, dropping my DMs. So these guys are on Instagram. These guys are influencers. These guys are, so I have influencers. I got people who do YouTube videos every day, and they got to get haircut sometime twice a week. Most of my influencers that come to me that got millions of followers, they usually get their haircut all the time, like twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on what type of video they're doing. And so I charge them different than I charge everybody else. Sometimes and that's all in my A1 video, and I don't want to share all that, but the nugget of today is dropping somebody DMs and say, hey, listen, I don't know who your barber is, not taking nothing away from him. It looks like you got a decent haircut, but give me a chance. I can meet you at your hotel, I can meet you at your house, or you can come to my suite or to my barbershop, and I promise you the hair first. And you may have to do, hey, first haircut is free. Get them in the door and bless their socks off. It's a win-win. And guess what? The least that can happen is that you can take a picture with them and you can show off your haircut to IG or to YouTube or whatever, and you could just make things work or make things pop. All right? This is your boy, Super Barber Samson. Remember what I said, drop into the DMs and to those professional clients and say, hey, remember, don't downplay your co-barbers. This is our culture, so we're not trying to take money out your pocket. We're just trying to stay above the competition. All right? Remember, support the culture, and that's how we do it. It's your boy, Super Barber Samson. Holla at your boy. All right?
Let's go!